Hold on, where is it? Um,
Board of Selectmen meeting, regular meeting, Tuesday, July 7th, 2026. If you'll all join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the agenda, I'm sorry to have to ask, but 2 meetings in a row for the HVAC building committee, we have not had a quorum because we have not had enough members. This evening, Rob Hellstrom has graciously offered to join that, and Beverly Cirillo as a alternate. So at least we can get people paid and stay on top of that, and Rob there with any expertise that he can bring to that. So I'd like to add to the agenda to appoint them under the HVAC building committee. So I move to approve the agenda with the addition under appointments and resignations, 8.1, to appoint Beverly Cirillo to the Horace Porter, Beverly Cirillo as an alternate and Rob Hellstrom as a sitting member to the Horace W. Porter HVAC building committee.
That's it.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. 8.1. I move to approve the Board of Selectmen regular meeting minutes from June 16th, 2026. Any discussion, concerns, corrections, changes? Seeing none? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Audience of citizens. Wow, what a race. Yes, young lady in purple, name and address, please.
Vera Ingrid, 230 Route 87. My concern is just on an agenda, and I don't think it ever root, but I would like the board select to come up with a town ordinance which would address the graffiti that's on our town green in the center. Maybe they could come up with an ordinance to give people a time limit of expressing their personal views and causing traffic hazards and calling people of a political party ugly names that are really warranted. I know it's freedom of speech, and I don't have any problem with that. And I would like people to get involved, and I like people to express their opinion. I just think there needs to come a time limit. And if you could develop some type of ordinance, which I don't, like not have to show the ordinances, at least the last I knew, where people could apply for the right to do that on that particular piece of property, of which we all pay for, we all pay to maintain. There seems so there ought to be a time limit of when you should be able to do that. I'm not saying charge them anything for permanent or apply for anything like that. Apply for something that says we would like to express our opinions during of June 1st through August 1st, for 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 6 weeks. I'm just hoping it's going to come to an end at some time. And enticing, I know there's been a problem with Chris Coombs was complaining about it from honking, and I can certainly understand that because So to try to engage people to, practically, lunge out at you, or when you stop there, peering into your car, trying to engage you in the conversation. Um, I'm at the point now, I'm taking it at the point of almost, like I said, it's gotten to the point where it's almost, in my opinion, on graffiti on our town green.
Well, I appreciate your comment. I go by there a lot. I see them out there a lot. They are talked to by one of our Board of Selectmen members about some of the things that they write, and they've been, pretty good about tailoring their signs. And also, I go by there a lot, and I've never seen anybody lunge out. I've talked to them about standing back from the road for safety reasons, and they have. So, I appreciate your comment. We have it down. Thank you. I saw other hands. Yes,
Martha Carter, 30. I wanted to make a comment about the speed camera. Should I make it now?
if you'd like.
Or, because I know it's next on the agenda. Yeah, so I just want to say I'm a strong proponent of that program. We know from our budget discussions that we've just concluded that the town has very limited dollars to do anything related to speed enforcement. I think it's unrealistic to expect a resident state trooper to take that on himself. And if we don't want to do that, for me, that's tantamount to we need to build a police department here. It's also my understanding that some of the funds we would generate could be used to hire a constable. I asked that question during one of the hearings that we had from people that know that information. And so I think it would pay for itself and then some, so we could really help this town control speed, not just on the state highways, but pretty cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the things they wrote, I'm concerned about spraying of herbicides on the roadsides in water. I think this may have come up before in the audience citizens, but I noticed before that they went through that under the gardens, the vegetation had died. Not that I'm against killing invasives, of course not, but maybe not in the watersheds.
So thank you for your comment. I looked into that when it came up not long ago, and I was assured that the state uses a milder and a watershed approved by DEP.
Yes.
Watershed approved mixture. So,
Well,
yes, yes. We're under the guardrails. They use that in the watershed, and DEP watershed approved mixture.
it's a watered down version of what's used on the highways, designed for watershed. It's mild.
Thank you. Yes,
Mike Armstrong, 95 Lake Road. What's the half-life of the product you're using?
all right, we'll look into it.
I'd have to get you that information.
No idea.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't ask about everything and everything and everything. I just don't know. But I can look into it for you.
What is the name of what they're using?
We have the
MSDSU?
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Anyone online? Nobody's putting their hand up?
No.
Great. Seeing no more, thank you very much. Okay, old business. I move to authorize the town administrator to prepare an ordinance, work with CROG on the safety action plan and put together an RFP to choose a vendor for automatic tracking enforcement safety devices in the town, to be used in the town of Columbia. Okay. We put together a traffic and safety committee. They recommended we go with the cameras. We talked to other towns. I understand, and we'll have to go to an ordinance. An ordinance will have to be passed for us to be able to utilize them, so you'll be able to keep your mind at the meetings and stuff. So I see a lot. I get a lot of letters. I look at them. I understand it. I get it. I'm putting it before the town. Somebody asked me, please do not, this is one time, you're in a sitting position. I'm 50-50 on the cameras, so I'm putting it before the town, okay? So,
So the ordinance will say where they're gonna let that put and how many?
no, it will allow us to put them in. We haven't even decided how many, where.
What's the time frame you expect us creating the ordinance?
Well, there's,
Still will come for us and we'll come up with some wording and then we'll approve that before it comes before the time.
Yeah, we're working with our attorney and stuff to be able to draw up, of a ordinance, one that's been used by a few towns now, so we'll certainly probably just use that and change the name.
I think it's everywhere now. I mean, the state's turning theirs on. I was on the news last night, so it's gonna come.
yeah, so the steps would be, we create an ordinance, which the state has laid out the ordinance. We'd have to adopt it, making it Columbia's ordinance. But you'd also have to adopt the CROG Safety Action Plan, which we've been working with the Capital Region Council of Governments to create a safety action plan for all roads in the town of Columbia. So we already have that exists. That would have to be adopted because that's part of the application process. And we'd have to adopt a crash data narrative study. And we'd have to also go out to bid and hire a vendor that would be recommended to DOT as the vendor if everything was approved by the town. So there's a lot of steps in the process.
I'm still not even 50-50 on it. I'm adamantly opposed to putting in the speed cameras in town. I mean, I'm not going to be redundant in why, but I have deep concerns. There are concerns both the civil liberty stuff, which I've expressed many times. I'm concerned about the monitoring of that and the appeals board that gets appointed for that and the justifications for who gets off and who has to pay the fine. I have so many concerns about it, and I looked at the old business, went back through the old business report. There are news articles for some of those towns now where they've actually stopped using them. Greenwich is an example of that. I actually stumbled on, I wasn't even looking for the traffic committee stuff, and I was reading some news when we were down in that area, and Greenwich halted all of their traffic cameras because they were having problems. So I'm opposed to adding them in the first place, but I've expressed my view on that a few times now, but I don't want to beat the idea that
I've expressed my opinions on it. Well, I'm not crazy about speed cameras, but we've invested a lot of time over the past year in terms of committee, in terms of town meetings, in terms of discussions of this board. And I've heard arguments on both sides that I think are legitimate. I'm willing to have it go forward. So I would support it.
Yeah, I've had a lot of concerns also. But I see cars going much too fast. And again, I would want to know where they're going to be put. And I guess down the road we'll figure that out where it's best locations. But I would, but the tax people should be supported. Should be the ones making the decisions. So I can see going into a public hearing and then town meeting.
I would be in favor also. I think there's definitely a benefit for it, either financial or the roads being safer.
And as long as we come up with an ordinance that makes sense, I'd be in favor.
You know, it's pretty sad we have to do this. Truthfully, it's pretty sad. But I mean, I step out and I look both ways to get out of my car at the end of my own driveway to retrieve my mail. Because they're flying past me. And I'm on the, right at the crest of a downhill at Lebanon and, you know, they're picking up more speed and so.
I come out of 87 every day, on the 87 off the double day, and I would twice both ways and then done it.
So,
And I think we should be clear, you know, who gets people, if we want to appeal, that should be consistent with everybody if we don't.
No way to make that consistent. Just by the way the law is written, there's no way. It's so subjective that this option is completely subjective.
but no, I'm gonna call it a crime or no breaking of a law is treated or,
Not breaking of the law.
no, okay.
You can't call it that because then it's a criminal
Well, that car is going too fast.
constitutional.
So, okay, I said I didn't know how to put it. Let me put it this way. When somebody or something is judged, nobody or two people don't come up with the same thing. Ask any attorney who goes before any judges. They always say, who are you going before? How's this person? You know, he's not like this person. She's not like that. Nobody's going to have the same. But you know what? You'd be a great person to be on the committee to say, yeah, I'm sorry, yes or no. So we'll put your name down.
Tired.
So, okay, no more discussion, all those in favor? Okay, move it forward. Oh, I'm sorry, opposed.
So
Thank
on the
you.
record.
Yep.
Thank you.
You need to approve minutes to go back one, 3.1.
Oh, we looked at it. I'm sorry, 3.1. I move to approve the minutes from the June 16, 2026 meeting. Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor? Opposed, thank you.
Unanimous. Unanimous.
Okay, I move to, I motion to authorize myself, Stephen Everett, to execute an Eversource easement. We should have done this before. Somehow it landed on a desk and sat there for a while. They had to put the main power off the street back to the HVAC system back here. We have to get the proper paperwork in to execute the Eversource easement. Right?
Yes. So the easement is written. Stephen needs to notarize it and record it, then it goes back to Eversource. Right, they want to make sure that they own each side of that electric power if they have to get into it. The easement. Right, they have. It's identified.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Columbia Lake, application to install a 5.5 foot by 6 foot aluminum jet ski lift. I move to approve the application to install a 5.5 by 6 foot aluminum jet ski lift for Eric and Tracy Sodergren at 166 Route 87 upon the recommendations set forth and subject to the conditions set by LMAC. That's the end. LMAC has approved this. They made a recommendation to approve it. This is brought up to us a month ago. Now LMAC has looked into it. They've done a different design where the footings will rest on the bottom, but there will be no moving of the bottom or penetration on the bottom to set these in so they don't move. LMAC did the homework and they said it's fine.
Question on it. It has the, in order to maintain the proper number of 3 structures for the property, 1 structure must be given up. Is there someone who follows up on that from LMAC?
Mike is in.
You will take that.
Anything else? All those in favor? Aye, opposed? Thank you. Okay, based on LMAC's administrative approval, I approved the application to replace dry rot boards for safety purposes on the dock of Henry Beck at 41 Sleepy Hollow. LMAC told me there would be no, anything going into the water, maybe some sawdust if he had to do, but it was all upboard and the boards were rotting away. It was a safety issue. So they gave administrative approval. I allowed it to happen, replacing 3 boards. I think it was 3, wasn't it?
Mhm.
So I just wanted to let you know that, okay? Okay. I move to appoint Beverly Cirillo to the Horace W. Porter School HVAC Building Committee as an alternate member. And I'll get to Rob in a minute. Any discussion on Beverly?
Wasn't there an issue? I hate to use the term conflict of interest, but we had a discussion about whether it was appropriate to have Beverly in that capacity. And I think the board should address that.
Yeah, you did, and now I remember bringing that up, and you can tell me her capacity. You told me it's just,
Well, she is actually cutting the invoices, and Bill's concern was, should she be approving them? Between Beverly and I, we do approve all invoices, but I couldn't be on the board because I don't live in Columbia. You have to be an electorate, but you think there's still a conflict in that sense?
I just recall that it was brought up, and so I want to make sure that it's addressed appropriately.
Okay. I have not asked that specific question of the town attorney.
Why don't we table her appointment for the time being, and then we can get an opinion on that. I think that would be smart.
Okay.
okay, so I will retract my motion, but I made a motion to appoint Robert Hellstrom on the Horace W. Porter School HVAC Building Committee as a sitting member. Any discussion there? Sorry. All those in favor? Aye.
Rob, can you make Thursday at 11 in the afternoon?
You
In the morning? It's always normally Monday, but we made an emergency meeting for Thursday at 11.
This Thursday? I think so. I'll have to, I can check my calendar.
Okay, thanks.
11 this Thursday.
So he recused himself from the vote, or see
Oh,
what
that's
times.
so true. 6
Yeah,
o'clock.
he can recuse himself.
Tell me what to put, 4 zip and 1 recusal.
Rob, did you recuse yourself of voting for
He voted.
yourself?
I voted for myself. I'll recuse the word proper.
I would say recuse.
Okay, I recuse myself.
So 4 zip. Okay, town administrators report. Hey. I love your cameras.
The first thing in your book, I just wanted to show part of the state requirement when we're setting the mill rate is to show what the mill rate would be without state grants and reimbursements for different expenses of the town. Grants such as ECS grant, which is $2,300,000, supplemental education grant, which was an extra $92,000 this year, special ed grant, $45,000. So the total grants to the town were $2,547,887. So without that state aid, the mill rate, instead of the 30.75 that we just set, it would have been 35.14. So, and then this is the whole list of the grants received by Columbia. And then next thing we want to talk about is the Route 66 and 87 intersection as part of CROG. We've been analyzing major traffic problem areas of the town. And Stephen, do you want to tee this up for the board?
Yeah, so just before the Christmas break, John, our planner, and I were on a call with, who was it, Crown? the state agency, and they were talking about Route 6 and 66 down past the 7-Eleven down that area, how they had planned out widening a couple of the lanes and putting left turn signals in there because there's designated 2 lanes. So, and then I asked them, well, our real problem, that's fine, I'm glad you're doing that. The real problem is out here at 66 and 87. So I explained what I thought was a bad area. They took a look at it and they brought up statistics right on the computer there. And they said, you know what, we're going to look into this because it is kind of a tough spot. So they got back to us about 3 weeks ago. And they had they said, yes, it's a bad spot and it's going to get worse over the next 25 years. So in your binder, you'll see the Connecticut Department of Transportation. Okay. And it gives you a lot of stuff to read. But if we decide to do something, we'll have to go to a town meeting anyway. But I want you to turn to this page here. Okay. So the top graph going for that's what we have now. So in the morning, on the first column here, in the morning, Route 66 headed eastbound. That's toward, let's get them mixed up. Westbound, eastbound is toward Willimantic.
Right.
Westbound is the other way. Route 87 northbound and Route 87 southbound. No. So the bottom line is you'll see numbers, letters. And the letters run from Alpha A, which is the best road conditions. No traffic, runs smooth, very little history. Goes up to F, Foxtrot. F is terrible. Traffic, collisions, poor sight lines, you name it. So currently, in the center of town, we're basically at Charlie, one way on 66 eastbound, Alpha, which that's fine, great. Probably because when I talked about we had 1 lane with a left turn signal that lasted for about 2.5 seconds. Route 87 northbound is at Delta, already pretty rough. And Route 87 southbound is at E, Echo, which means it's pretty bad, really bad. Part of the problem is they took a look at it as you're headed west on 66. When you come through there, you almost have to adjust in the road because it's not really a straight line. Okay. So looking at these numbers, that's now. In the evening time, it gets to be coming back from eastbound. It's on Echo, Bravo, and then 87 is a Delta. And people who go southbound, they don't come back at that time of night. So they're at Charlie. But the next 2 are in the next 25 years projected, 2051. Where in the evening time, you take a look, Route 66 eastbound is an F. Worst case scenario. Westbound is pretty good with Alpha and Bravo there, morning and evening. 87 northbound is Delta, morning and evening. And 87 southbound is an F in the morning, and it goes back to a little bit heavier than now, but it's a Charlie in the evening time. So looking at those, you can see why we have some accidents out there. The other thing, people come up into the intersection. There's only one lane that has like I said, an arrow turn. It's about 2.5 seconds. You can probably get two cars through there, and then everybody gets nose to nose, and they can't see the car that's approaching from in back of the person trying to turn into you. So you think it's clear, and you go, and then you get T-boned, hitting the side, whatever, and that's a problem. So the first alternative they came up to is left turn lanes each way. So you can see what they believe now, but the future, everything is in 25 years, it's better than what we have now. Charlie's, a Delta, but it's better with Charlie. Okay. They would have to capture some land. They would have to take away some of the side. This is probably, it would be costly. Now, I'll talk about costs a little bit later because there's costs in all this. The second alternative was a roundabout road. In 2026, you have, which they would believe a rotary would be now. You would have B's and A's in every direction. And in 25 years, it would remain B's and A's for traffic pattern coming through the center of town. There's rotaries all over the place. You know, Coventry has them, Glastonbury has a couple. If you're on Cape Cod, they have them. I mean, South Carolina, I've been down to South Carolina. My nephew gave me a little ribbon. No rotaries up north. You don't know how to travel in this thing. Okay. There, some learning curve to it. But the problem, the good thing about this is we talk about traffic and whether we get cameras or we don't. I see 87 people trying to race through there to get those lights. Even the trucks, the 18-wheelers that are hauling feed and sod or whatever they're hauling from 87 through Lebanon and stuff. They want to get through there. Everybody knows if you stop an 18-wheeler, it takes more fuel to get it up and running again. So if they even get through there on a yellow light, they're probably doing the speed limit, maybe, or a little bit more to get through there. And then they've got the turn for Whitney Road coming up, and everybody's concerned about getting off of Whitney Road. And then they have the S curve around the dam, and we all know that we've had a lot of accidents there. So to get through the center of town that way, the rotary, they would have to slow down. They would have to slow down. And then to try and pick up speed, 40, 45 or something like that, not a lot of sense to it. It gives them a reason why they have to slow down. There's not a lot of benefit picking up the speed, going through the center of town, down through the worst part down. Whatever we do, there's cost with all of it. But there are state programs that pay us back. It's lots of. Okay. Lots of, and they said anything we do except for the engineering planning, we'd have to pay for that. And their guess was about 200,000. I'm gonna tell you it's 400,000. Okay, it's $400,000. I don't know. We would look into it before we did anything. We would look and see what the cost is. But the construction of this, the construction of that, we would get lots of funding because the state has it. They are happy about rotaries. They want them to succeed. And what they said was, this is not a designated area for a rotary because it's a small town. However, done correctly, it could be a big success story and they could bring the rotaries to other towns. Both these help. Both of them help. This doesn't help much. It probably doesn't help at all with speed because now they have a free right lane to continue on going through. And you'll still have people who are trying to make, even though the arrow's gone, the left turn off of all these. So they were very happy to help. They came back very quickly with these plans. They saw the road as a problem. So we've got more work to do. I'm sure there's gonna be a ton of questions, and I have to bring them those questions. We're not moving fast. We're gonna move right, but we need input. Yes, sir.
I'm familiar with, the rotary that the DOT did in Stafford Springs. They did it right by the town hall. And I was impressed. I went back to some of the early meetings they had on Zoom and stuff like that, but they bring a lot of specialists in to meet with the community and work with the, in Stafford, they work with the first selectman to present it to the town and get a lot of feedback from the town as to the impact that that would have. So they do a really nice job with a lot of different professionals that come in and get involved.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I was traveling Glastonbury all the time. I had a lot of clients down in there and they have rotaries there and I'm thinking, "Wow, these rotaries, it's really,
Right now, when you think of Hebron Ave,
Mhm.
it's, cause I remember Hebron Ave before those rotaries and now it's much slower. And to me, that's a better solution to slow traffic down, but Hebron Ave is significantly slower because you've got rotary, then you've got a couple blocks and then you've got another rotary, so.
Say rotaries. My wife used to go to Whole Foods all the time, and she didn't like roads. She didn't mind. But I go through. I could remember before the roads that light they hit Northern Turnpike. It was always backed up. 20 cars coming in at Glastonbury. Anytime I go there, I go right through.
right. It's still slow going there, but that's a heavy business area. Ours is not a heavy business area. Will it slow traffic going through there? Yes, it will. I gotta tell you, I think probably half of these people are here because of traffic related discussion tonight. So, yeah, ask for solutions. And I'm putting this out there. There are different solutions. Some are good, some are great, some are terrible. Okay. But I've seen, I mean, we had one meeting, the gentleman was talking about the brakes. Whoa, you know, how many times you hear them out here? I know you do. I hear them out here.
Yeah.
Well, they'll get it over there. They'll get it over. But they will, except when they now know the rotary's coming up. They're coming up the hill.
Learning curve, I think.
Absolutely.
I think of the one in Salem too, that I don't know if anyone drives down that way, but that would definitely help that straight away. We owned a business on the Stafford one and it was nice because it slowed everything down, going through there. As someone who has had to make the turn down 87 toward Bolton many times from 66 that direction, something needs to be done. So, I'd be curious, my questions kind of lie around like, what is the property loss for each of these options around there for the various businesses and town land, but in church?
Problem is no problem. Well, it's close, but I don't think we can do this without.
You say there would be a little.
No, the lanes,
Oh,
the widening of the turning lanes, we would have to probably have a little bit more. But the rotary, they said they really, yeah.
This picture shows it on town property. But it's not on the, it's not, you know, the Apple Collins Garage, they don't own anything.
No, I know that. They don't have that property. That's town property.
That's all town property.
Property.
I think the landmark-
They, you know, what they did say was the landmark. I said, that may be a problem there. And they said, well, actually, on the backside heading up Route 66, they would be able to work a little bit with that where you didn't have a drop off and a maneuver type of thing. So it may come around in a smoother and they would widen that a little bit over there. They would have to look into it, but they thought they could fix the maneuver in the road. So,
those would just be where my questions lie. It's kind of.
right. Yeah, we bring them in, they talk to us, they do, you know,
I
so,
would say bring in some expert. Questions.
yeah, and the good thing is, it's not costing us millions of dollars. Or I don't think the cost would get to 400, but I'm gonna tell you. And I thought they had payback grants for stuff like this too. So, we'll take a look at it. You know what, we kind of heard it differently. He was talking about the town would have to outlay, but there's money that is paid back. So we would have to, we'll get all that information.
But even if it's a state road, so they don't necessarily just do it.
No. No. So we'll get more information. Okay? But we'll also get more information on the turns also. And in the least, I wanted them to put signs up that say, turn like this. You know, rear to rear, but they won't do it. They won't do it, because then they're directing how people should turn and everything, and somebody
Very
gets.
wide intersection.
You're so far away.
I'm adamant to pass behind the person and no one ever does it. I mean, the other
They
way.
stay way back and won't come up.
I put my window down and I go back at me like this. They sued me. Good. Yeah, okay, thank you, just for listening.
And I just want to comment, the America 250 picnic we had not too long ago went great. There was a lot of effort on the 250 committee, the rec department, boards and commissions that were represented, and DPW getting all the grounds ready. So I want to thank everybody. And the 4th of July parade was fantastic, as always. And that was another big effort. We even had DPW with their trucks trying to make sure we had better barricades on the roads to protect us. And that worked out well.
I heard great things about both of them, but I couldn't make it to the picnic. I was able to go see my 3-year-old granddaughter in her dance recital. But I got it, don't worry. So if you all look at the TV, I'm gonna show it to you.
She was the cutest.
I'm teasing. It was great. Stick around after, I'll show you. All right. What about housing growth?
Right now, I just want to give the board a heads up that there's a new state statute requiring that all 169 municipalities adopt and submit for approval with the Office of Policy and Management a housing growth plan. We're involved also, the capital region, the COGS can present a regional growth plan that we are planning to participate in. So we'll be part of the Prague Regional Growth Plan, COG, that we're already starting. And we'll have to document our progress towards implementing one, and that will guarantee our eligibility for funding opportunities that come forward, such as a housing growth fund. And I haven't even looked into that yet as to how that would work. But here's a write-up for you of what literally just became available a few days ago. And I'm just starting to get my hands around it, but I wanted to give you a heads up. And finally, I just wanted to tell you, I was at a board director meeting of our state insurance board. They had a tough year for underwriting losses last year. $25,832,000 were lost between all our cities and towns due to lawsuits and property damage. But the good news is the net investment gain on all their investments that we put away was $26,838,000. So the net income for Kerma was $1.6 million. So we didn't lose any money, but we won't have any shared contribution from Kerma that we normally get every year as being a part owner of Kerma because of the tough year they have. But good news is we didn't lose any money. And that's all I have, Steve.
In correspondence, we had a lot of correspondence, everything listed, there's something in here. We also, before we, too late to go to print here, I just want to make note that we have 3 letters in here opposing the cameras: Justin Riandu, James Block, and J.C. Anderson. So we have copies in there.
And J.C. was opposing the roundabout.
Yes. And I had a wonderful day. Thank you, Jason.
No transfer.
Thank you. No transfers, no refunds. Payment of bills. I move that we approve the payment of bills amounting to $358,901.46. Consisting of 25-26 emergency, 25-26 regular, 26-27 regular. And this actually be a little payment number 104, credit card and paychecks. That's ahead of the past budget. Hang on, but-
Yeah.
You see that, the late great Bruce John, we paid him for a concert he did here on June 18th, and what a shock. I mean, even though we knew he was sick, it was quite a shock. He was a wonderful storyteller,
He's great.
great entertainer, and he'll be missed.
Would we pay the town against still?
Eastern Highland Health District, regional.
While you're looking at this, the tax bills will be going out first of,
Probably about it'll be the end of July and they'll do between August 1st and late September 1st. So that's your window.
any questions with the bills?
Question on one, I just happened to be looking at the request for payment. It says Hartford current / credit card, but then the description says something about the Village Hill Bridge.
Yeah, I think was that somebody we came in to assess the Village Hill, the crack in the bridge?
Yeah, what's the dollar amount?
133.16, but it just was weird that the payment was to the Hartford current.
It's a legal notice.
Oh,
Sense.
that's right.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, we could have paid.
I was like, two things just weren't matching up in my brain.
What's that?
Municipal services?
Yep.
What's that?
Oh, I'm blanking out, which is, it's our website, right?
Website, okay.
Yeah, they got bought out. What were they originally? Anyway, doesn't matter. They're now Munistat.
Anything else? All those in favor of paying the bills? Aye. Opposed? Excellent. I'll send this around. Audience of citizens. Seeing none. Yes,
Ingrid Wood, Region 2, Louisiana 7. Just a comment about the technical memorandum, Route 66 and 87 intersection improvements. I have a vested interest, clearly, since I live at that intersection. But the comment that I have has to do with the complete streets considerations that Connecticut DOT has on page 9 of 9, which says, whatever you do, alternative 1 or 2 or the other possible alternatives, you've got to consider sidewalks. All right, so just put sidewalks into the equation is the only thing that is stipulated.
it says to consider them.
I'm sorry?
It says to consider them.
It says it's part, the guidance requires pedestrian facilities be provided on both sides of the roadway for projects on state routes in rural town center. The CROGS priority pathways plan identifies Route 66 through Columbia as a tier 3 local connection for a regional pedestrian and bicycle network. So whatever you do, 66 will probably need at least limited sidewalks.
Well, our 66 is probably as wide as Hebron, so they'll just choke it down a little bit.
But
We'll
the
see.
question is, who pays? Is it part of the state's payback or funding, or does the state require that the town would build on sidewalks? But it's just a question.
Thank you. One more. Thank you very much. Then,
Oh, Mike, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Not paying attention. Speed cameras. pretty much opposed to them. After the big meeting we had over here, I went home and on the website that was up on your TV screen. And then it links over to the state of Connecticut, and it just goes right to the town of Washington. Now, we've heard a lot of, all about town of Middletown. Town of Washington is a little more like us. And if you read between the lines under, I get a ticket and I deny, it's not me, blah, blah, blah. Town of Washington won't fight it because they start losing money as soon as they have to fight any ticket. All right. 2, according to the little handout here today from the state, we have to post a sign in front of these things to notify drivers. So after like day 30, you're not going to catch any resident from town. All right.
Because they're going slower.
They're going to slow down that particular
Okay.
spot. I'll give you that. That's not everybody's going to do that. They're going to go, oh, camera's over the hill. We're going to slow down. Then we're going to go like hell right after it. And coming back up the hill, I'm going to go 80 just as a big FU sign that's there. Okay. Then there's the big question, and I'm not way up on this, about sharing information. Big talk about flock, scanning your phones, all your stuff in your car when you go under these things. I know, according to that meeting, they were using flock, but then there's mergers and acquisitions happen daily. These people are swallowing up little companies all the time. So it is an issue. And then, you read the beginning of the state statutes, and it's 30 days after either I pay the fine or it's resolved in or out of court, however it happens. The town has to destroy my information except for my plate. But then if you get down to page 15, at the last paragraph on the last page, it says, no, we can retain your information up to a year to see if you're a frequent flyer, if you got a second ticket. That's how we know to increase your fine. So the information does not go away if you decide you want to hold on to it. It's like, Mike's a pain in the ass. We're going to keep tabs on him. So the next time we're going to get him and give him a $75 ticket. So this information that they say in the beginning of the statute conflicts with what's at the end of it. It's like, it's going to go away, unless we don't want it to go away, which is, it's, and then in the meantime, who's getting access to that? Every 12-year-old kid with a computer can break in. Look what happened with my neighbor with zoning. He gets a letter from the town of Columbia. You need to send us, or an email, excuse me. You need to send us a check immediately for $4,500. We're not going to process your permit fee. So it doesn't take much to hack into a town website to get all that information. So basically, just so you know, if you give a heads up, you won't catch me. Because there's a technology out there, plate blockers, other stuff that, you're not going to get anybody that doesn't want to get caught or just doesn't really care. All right, for criminals, we're going to go right through that every day. Thank you.
Watch out for Mike.
Catch me if you can.
Yeah.
And Bruce from Whitney Road. I understand both sides of the camera. I expect that. What I'm looking at is like when we had the last big safety meeting. What was told was that having the cameras alleviates the one police officer we have in the town to look at other roads. And respectfully, both sides. The other side I look at is if people are worried about getting caught, then maybe you shouldn't speed so much. Here's my feeling. I live on Whitney Road. There's people that live on the lake that don't drive fast around their road on the lake, but they're gunning up Whitney. So if that's going to be the answer to alleviate the police officer to look at the little ones and brings town revenue, which at the meeting they said the town revenue kind of goes back into traffic things for the town, then I would have to say I'm for it. Because what other alternatives? Yeah, can't afford a police officer, the other police officers down. So if you can't do that, I look at something. If you don't do anything, you got 0 results. So I'm all for it. I'm glad that you're looking at that and the intersection too. I'm not the giant fan of rotary, but it will slow cars down, sure. My question is on the little roads, last time we talked about, I know there was a sign on ours, they took it out, whatever I went to. You like the idea of some, whatever it is, some flashing signs. Are they anywhere with getting some of them on the road?
We'll be meeting with our Department of Public Works. Now that the budget's passed, we have to see what we have for nickels and dimes to try and put some stuff out there. You know, it's funny, even after I said that, I'm driving out roads all over the place. And I find myself going, I got no idea the speed limit on this road.
Yeah.
Because I came in the middle of the road and they didn't have a sign and they're gonna nail me. And I'm gonna go, I didn't see a sign. Well, that's not our fault. Well, it kind of is your fault. And I travel slower now. I'm the guy doing 36 on Whitney, but we need to get more signs up. So
They do, I mean, they're not gonna stop everybody and you got people that know what they are, they're gonna go fight. But I've even been through over in the backside of, Manchester going to Glastonbury where they have a couple of them. I find myself, I slow down for them, I see it. You know, it's, something is gonna be better than not having any. People just, you know, like you said, if
Chief
you
has a comment.
if you're looking both ways, we got the same thing on our, so something is gonna make a difference. I think, I think it's a win situation. You know, some people keep saying to me, I don't know why, this is the oddest thing. I said, why is it going so fast? Like, if you're just going out on the dump and you got all day to go there, we got 60 of them. Go for it. And people keep saying, oh, it's sense code, not sense code. This is what the answer is. The more people that go faster, what happens is they put pressure on the people that don't want to go fast, but they go fast to keep up with the other cars. Now you got everybody going fast. That's why I think everybody's going so fast. But you got to have things in place to slow them down. I mean, we just put trees across our whole front yard on Whitney because of the road. You know, sometimes it's crazy sometimes. So, you know, you go down a little road like that, you're hauling a landscape trailer that's 16 feet long, you're doing 60 on that little road. I'm just waiting to hear that, you know?
I get it.
We gotta do something. I like, you know, the trooper said himself, if cameras go in, it's gonna alleviate me to sit in other places, so that's a win. But I still like, in the meantime, obviously, that's gonna be a debate and, you know, with the town deciding, but the little slow down flashing, we can get some of that once you get your budget going. I think we'll help a little bit. You got people that won't care, they're gonna blast it in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got him out there in the hallways that had his hand up.
Jeff, those 2 Lakewood's Lane. Everyone got a cell phone?
Yeah.
Everyone got a cell phone?
Yep,
Everyone got an email address?
yep,
So we're worried about our privacy, right? Right? Everyone's got a cell phone?
Yeah.
Anyone drive down 91, 95? Traffic cameras are on those roads now, folks. Traffic cameras are coming up everywhere. We're worried about our personal privacy and all that. Then sell your cell phone, shut off your email address, and get rid of it all.
yeah, you're right.
Because right now, as we all sit in this room, you're being watched. It's true. You can go and research it. They're listening.
Yeah,
So to think about your privacy, it's gone.
it's already gone.
Unless you get rid of all your technology, it's gone. It's built into your phone. Anyone got kids? What the WhatsApp where you can watch your kids where they're at? It's no different. Your phone is pinged. You don't have to have your tracker on. Your phone is pinged. You make a phone call to 911, your phone is pinged. It can get you within 5 feet. So I understand people's privacy and I get it, but this is a tool to help us. Everyone's complaining about speed. We need to be able to start taking action towards getting to the result. We just lost how much money to our budget? How much? How much did we just cut at the end? Where's the mill right now? 1.5? That's what it's going up. Next year, we're looking at close to a 3 mil increase, and we're not even there yet. We're not talking about that. So what happens to next year? We have to start looking ahead. I understand people have their opinions, and I get it. But we have to start moving the needle forward as a community. And I get it. You don't want privacy? Don't leave your house. Get rid of your cell phone and your email address.
Thank you.
Yeah, so passive monitoring is that's cell phone fracture.
I'm sorry, your name, address?
Passive monitoring is different than cell phone fracture. Something I just want to point out.
What?
Even enforcement.
I'm sorry. You have to,
So I said passive monitoring is different than being accused of a cell phone infraction. But going forward, I just want to talk about some experience I had in Marlboro regarding automated traffic enforcement and the accuracy.
where?
Marlboro, town next door, and some issues that we received once the element is removed from this. So my wife got a ticket for 12 miles over about a year ago. I was the operator. I called them around. I identified myself as the driver. I ended up pulling their accuracy report and calibration report. I was actually well within the margin of error of 3 miles an hour. I can test it. The very next day, they sent a notice of decision after the hearing, where they ruled against me after the hearing, where they let the decision stand. The hearing never happened. They sent it overnight on Saturday. So the system was cramped with a pre-signed notice from the town's hearing officer ruling against it. The hearing was false. It never occurred. So I ended up contesting it with the town public safety manager, the town manager itself, and the town ethics committee. And after multiple weeks, they finally looked into it and determined they have no idea how this happened. They also have no record of it. So I was violation number 1,515. So per their system, they have no record of this happening. They ended up waiting it out because they showed them the hearing outcome for a hearing that never happened. But unless you contest it, you don't know if this actually happened. So the town was entirely unaware that they're issuing assessments and citations for stuff that was contested for hearings that never occurred. So that's something that you need to consider.
Thank you.
Sally Robinson, 26 April. I believe that when the state rolled out speed cameras, it was a pilot. And I'm just wondering if that would be more palatable if the town approached this as pilot for maybe a 2-year period.
That's a great question. Today I had a conversation with Mark. I said, what is the contract length? First of all, there's no cost to us. There's no cost to us. All right. It used to be when they first rolled out a year and a half, 2 years ago, when I first brought it to the board, it was $2,500 a month per camera. Well, it's at no cost to the town to put these, because like that, they probably handle everything and have forms and send it out. Okay. Because most people go, yeah, that was probably me. Look at me. Or look at my wife, or that's my plate, that's my car. And it's like a toll or something like that. So they send it in. So Fred did exactly what you're supposed to do. You don't believe it's you, you got 3 miles leeway, you read into it or something, contest it. But we're gonna have to find out a lot more information than just what we're telling you here. We have to find out the length of the contract. We're gonna have to go through classes. We're gonna have to designate a person or a board of 3, I would imagine, to be able to see the appeals and watch them and read the reasons for this, if it happened or if not. We're looking into all that. We're just moving slowly forward. This is a long time before cameras will show up there. Long time. So you can call it what you want. We're looking into the length of the contract because, you know, if it's hassle and it doesn't work, they'll be yanking them out of here. Okay. So we'll have all the information for you. That was a good question because I asked it today. So, yes.
Like, 29, by the way. Is there still openings on that committee?
We don't even have a committee yet. We don't have a camera yet to worry about.
We say,
Oh, the traffic committee? Well, you can be on there, sure. So the young man in the back, he's the chair. We put in an application. We'd love to have you on.
okay. you say no cost, but then you just, said 3-person committee. There's a person that daily inspects the cameras to make sure they're functioning.
They do that. They don't, the company does,
As our town has to have somebody designated to go out daily and inspect the cameras. So that's an employee of the town.
I'm saying in processing the tickets.
Yeah, so there is a.
but if nobody speeds, there's no tickets, there's nothing we have to process. Because
Yeah.
it doesn't cost us a thing, but right, am I right?
Okay, buddy, whatever.
A lot of people speak and make money.
Not a big one. Take it.
Yeah, if you have time, you can get on that committee. I would love to hear your solutions.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, thank you very much. So at this time,
Quick legal,
this time.
board member comments. Sorry.
Board member comment. Well,
I kind of held off till this point just to kind of address some of the stuff that came up today because I was a little more quiet when that piece came up. But I just want to first stress that I have no illusion of privacy. My argument against the speed cameras has nothing to do with privacy. We are being watched everywhere we go. That's not my argument against it. My concern is more about the right to face your accuser. Every person who has so far made a positive statement supporting the speed cameras has said something to the effect of, you speed, you deserve it. You speed, you should get the ticket. But that's no due process there. That's assuming guilt right off the bat. There's not a person stopping you. You're not conversing with anybody. So it's really important that we know this is not accusing someone of a crime. This would be a civil citation, which we've talked about quite a few times, which means that you'll have a civil board of people who are the subjective board who are going to be making that decision on whether or not you're innocent or guilty from the crime that doesn't actually exist because it's a civil infraction. So when we keep kind of going back to this idea of you speed, you deserve it, we're just wiping away due process, wiping away the constitutional right to face your accuser, and that's my primary concern with the whole thing. It doesn't have anything to do with the illusion of privacy. I have other concerns on the impact that it's had on other towns as far as businesses go, especially when we want to be pro-business and then we're going to slap speed cameras where people are going to be avoiding those roads around businesses, the few businesses that we have. So I have some concerns about that because that has come up in other towns too. I mean, most businesses in our town are going to be on 66 and 87 or 6. And if you put a speed camera on those stretches, you have people rerouting around and maybe speeding down those side roads to avoid the cameras as well. So that's kind of a secondary concern. The constitutionality piece is the piece that keeps coming up across the nation right now as these become more popular. That's where my primary concern is. So I just want to make sure it's clear. It's not a privacy. Okay.
Anyone else? Sorry, you already passed. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to suspend the Board of Selectmen meeting and move into executive session. I'll ask Mark to stay. So I thank you all for coming out.
It's 8:08 at this time.
So I have 8:21. We are coming out of executive session with no action taken and resume the Board of Selectmen meeting. At this time, I move to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Wait a minute.